Here are 5 things you should know before you add a water feature to your yard. My name is Nathan Zinnerman, and I'm a water feature specialist in the Spokane, Washington area. Here's my favorite water feature I've built. And here are the top 5 things you should know before you add a water feature to your yard. Number 1 is, why do I want to add a water feature to my yard? So when I say why, I mean, are you trying to get a water feature just for yourself to relax by and read a book or something? Or are you getting a water feature for friends and family to come over and to gather around? Things like this are really important because it can determine, do you want something larger or do you want something smaller, right? Like, for example, some people want to get a water feature so it can drown out the noise from the street, like all that traffic and all that noise from people, lawnmowers and all that. So they'll just get a water feature simply for the fact that they can listen to the sound of water instead of a lawnmower next door. Number 2 is, where do you want your water feature? So when thinking about the where, do you want it in the front yard so people from the street can see it and that's the first thing they see pulling up when they're coming to hang out or just a get together? Or do you want something to where it's more just about you, and do you want to see it from your bedroom window and look into the backyard and see it? So think about where are you going to be viewing it from? Also, something to think about is, do I want it connected to my sprinkler line so it automatically fills up to a certain level? And then also, is it too close to a sprinkler line or some wires, right? You want it so it's enough away from that and away from like a big tree, something like, this or something. You don't want it next to a tree and then the roots are hard to get through and it kills the tree, so make sure it's far enough away from the tree, right? Same with the electrical, how you're gonna hook it up. Make sure it's closer to your house if you can. You can always run wire, but then that's a separate contractor usually, so close to the house is best if that's possible. So the third question I like to ask customers is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you enjoy yard work? So the reason I ask this question is because something like a pond can take a lot of work to get it started and then having to maintain it, while something like a pondless waterfall, which is where it's just like a waterfall and the water goes into the rocks at the bottom and it looks like the water disappears. Something like that is much easier to maintain because really all you have to do is make sure that the pump has enough water, right? There's enough water in there. And then maybe cleaning it off with you can either just do a quick thing with the hose and spray it off, or use something like a leaf blower. It's real simple to keep it clean and looking really nice. So that's something to think about. How much work do you want to put into it? If you get a pond, maybe you have something like fish, and then you got to deal with the fish. So think about that. How often do you want to be in the yard? And if you have the option, obviously, it's usually great to just get a maintenance person to handle that for you. Um, but if you're doing it yourself, think about that. Think about, how much do I want to be working on it? Number 4 is, do you have any pets that might try to mess with your water feature? So this one is also for small kids too, right? Because I feel like kids are always going to try to find a way to harm themselves. So if you have something like a pond, is it to where they can fall in and then they can't swim, and that's an issue? Things like that are important to think about. Same as if you had like a pool or something, right? So think about that too. And if you have like a cat or a dog that might try to mess with it, think about that. That's why I really like the pondless waterfall I have, because I don't have to deal with things like that. So if my niece comes over or something, she's not gonna find a way to like drown herself in it because it's not enough water. There's no big pool of water like you would find in a pond. So that's something to also think about. And number 5, the last one I have on this list, is what is the sound I want to come from my water feature? What is the sound I want to listen to? So, do I want something like a creek sound or a river, or do I want that waterfall, that heavy water hitting rocks and splashing, or like a babbling brook where it's just that small little sound? What kind of sound do you want? That's very important because it determines what size pump you might get. A bigger pump would make more sound and be a little bit more louder, while a smaller pump is going to be something where it's really simple and relaxing and gentle. So just that's something to think about. It's not like it's a huge important thing. I do recommend getting a bigger pump though, because you can usually adjust it down, but you obviously can't adjust it up. And that's just the best way to find the sound that you enjoy the most. Now, if you would like to know what all you'll need to build a water feature yourself, as well as the estimated cost, then text water to 509 530 1469, and I'll personally send you a materials list for both a pond and pondless waterfall, as well as the estimated cost it would take to build it yourself.